March Madness is what everybody is talking about, and the man with the face that everybody's looking at all weekend long and all tournament long is my good friend from CBS Sports, the host of March Madness, the NCAA Tournament on CBS, and much, much more, Adam Zucker. Adam, how we doing?
DA, it is good to see you, buddy. Week one, just about in the books here.
I could only imagine how much fun it must be over at CBS. You're in this really awesome room, brackets up behind you. It must just be a party, a fiesta all month long over there.
It really is. We normally just stay on the set when we're working the whole time and can watch multiple games, can watch one game on a giant TV or cut that giant TV into 4 large TVs and watch whatever's happening and order food and yell at the screen and yell for our brackets and yell at each other. And sometimes you get ready to do a 20-minute show and it becomes a 30-second bridge. Sometimes, you don't think you're going to do anything, but then Duke Baylor just gets into a runaway mode and you come on for a quick hitter. So it's a blast and it's so cool to be a part of it.
Just a lot of yelling over at CBS Sports. That's good to know. Just a lot of yelling.
Yeah, no, friendly yelling, rooting and excitement. And I've learned a lot. I have learned so much sitting next to, like on Sunday, for example, Clark, Kenny, and Wally, the day before, Clark, Charles, and Wally, and just listening to them compare players, unpack certain aspects, and kind of really put a PhD level to the one-on-one stuff that usually comes out of my mouth.
You just got to make sure that Charles knows what game you're talking about. Ernie got caught in that trap the other day. He didn't know that Barkley wasn't watching the game they were talking about, the Illinois game.
Is that right? I totally missed that part.
Yeah.
I will tell you though, there's a lot of times where there's 2 studios for 4 channels during the first round with True TV. And so there are times where you have the best laid plans, but it could be an overtime. It could be a review, an injury, or just a lot of fouling. And all of a sudden, a game that you're kind of eyeballing casually, knowing that you're doing this other game, suddenly you have to take that game on and you may not have seen a specific play. Or, they had this awesome thing with the ice Kareem truck.
Yeah, that was great.
So when there's like a big, like in studio taping or segment that has to get done in a certain time, that's another reason why it might not happen. But I will tell you, like, there's TV the uptight way where you act like the viewer has a rundown at home, and then there's what we do in this building during the tournament where, you know what, if Charles was busy watching Auburn or they were doing a segment with this other group of people, like that stuff just happens. So I think you've experienced this in your career, right? It's just become more honest about what you know when you know it and what's happening, I guess, in the studio sometimes. Like Seth Davis had a live Ram down in the Atlanta studio, and it was clearly not house trained.
Well, it resonates, man. It looks like you guys are having a great time. It adds to the fun of the tournament, but these have been big shoes to fill after Greg Gumbel stepped away. And of course, our hearts go out to his family, and he was just a legend. So how has it been to slide into that role, knowing he was the face of March Madness for decades?
It's still so weird, DA, because I was in school at Syracuse waiting for Greg Gumbel to come on to tell me if Syracuse was in or out or where they were going, where we were going to go do radio or, cover it with the TV station that I was at there. The whole thing's been very strange and sad. He was the greatest. He was so great to me. He was great to everybody. But when he wasn't with us last year, he sent me a lot of great encouragement and a lot of host specific advice about the selection show. About, hey, if it doesn't pop up at first, just keep going. Like if for some reason the 10 seed doesn't show up as you say it, they'll figure it out. Don't just sit there waiting for it, keep going. Or if, remember that there's a delay on some of the reactions at the schools when you announce their names. But it's a massive vacancy without him here, like for all of us, just in our hearts. He was just the soul of the place, and he was so kind and joyful and funny. And, it's of course more sad now that he's not here anymore. I filled in for him last year, and I would get texts from him. And a lot of us don't have true closure with his passing. So, we know what he would want to see. We know how he would want us to do the job. And that's what we do.
That's poignant. That's well said. And I can only imagine, how it is over there for basketball and what you guys have seen so far, what you've seen over the course of this weekend. What has been in your mind the story of the weekend? Was it Pitino versus Calipari? Was it UConn getting bounced after this amazing 3-year run? What was it?
Well, the St. John's Arkansas game was crazy. No doubt a class game, and just kind of a surprise ending there, because even if RJ Lewis is struggling from the field, you're left wondering why he's not out there, because they were still, I think, +7 without him and minus double digits. +7 with him and minus double digits without him. And then, how much do you question the Hall of Fame coach? And so that was a big story, and I think that was a big story in part because we haven't had the monster upsets. You had a couple 12 seeds, but top 4 seeds not only advanced for the 6th time ever, all 4, 1 through 4, but it was the largest margin of victory ever. And the power conferences are now dominating, so even McNeese and Drake are gone now. And so you did end up with a couple of classics. I thought BYU Wisconsin was one of them. Could have been a situation where the referees became the story there. And as we sit here Sunday evening with still some games to play, Florida looked like the new guys, and UConn looked like the team with championship medal. But Florida just made a couple of big plays at the end in the final 5 minutes, especially defensively and rebounding to avoid trouble. And then Duke, to me now, Duke looks like the team I should have picked to win it all. I do have Florida. And then, there's a lot of people who want to talk about which conference is the best, and I think the SEC is starting to, flex back a little bit over the weekend. But I'm waiting for a buzzer beater. Sunday at 6:30 Eastern as we're talking, waiting for a buzzer beater, waiting for some classic moment. Tanjay almost had it. And then on that play, I was waiting for a hook and hold to be called on Wisconsin on the near baseline. And that's in part because BYU is my unique Final Four pick. So we'll see.
Love it. Well, you've had a busy week, an incredibly busy weekend. I know the family's over there at CBS. You're ready to go out with them and say hello. So, man, it's always a pleasure to catch up, brother. Thank you so much. You were absolutely crushing it in that role. I'm so proud to watch each and every year, considering where our paths began back at student radio, and you were one of the mentors of mine when you were there, and we were both there together. So thanks so much for the time tonight, man. It was great.
DA, I'm sorry I was probably a jerk in college, and I appreciate coming on with you.
No, you weren't.
Laughing.
Actually, you weren't. You were totally cool.
I was like a dog that barks a lot is what I kind of my self-assessment. Like I'd walk into that radio station or I'd be like, what's this silence I'm surrounded by? Must shatter it.
That's great, man. Have a great night. I'll talk to you soon, brother.
You too, man. Thank you.
Thanks, Adam Zucker. That is awesome. I mean, again, where are you getting these types of guests? The level of these types of guests throughout football season. We had awesome guests, big-time national network people. We had insiders. We had former players. We had former coaches. We had Charlie Weiss on here, 3-time Super Bowl champion, the day that Drake May debuted. I mean, here we have the guy that's on your TV sets basically as he's on your TV set on this show. We taped that right before we went live tonight. So we taped that at like 6:30, 6:45 Eastern time. He comes right on. Boom. How good is that? This is the place to be. We got it cooking around here. The guests have been phenomenal. You guys are phenomenal. This is a special place. Invite people into and let them know Sunday nights, there's some mojo there. They got it. They got it cooking. If you're a sports fan, you got to love it.